Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we will study Chapter 2, Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, from Class 10 English textbook. Before that, please like, subscribe and comment. Please study hard. I have mentioned here previous year HSLC questions also. Please watch till the end. Let's start with question number 1. Number 1. Where did the ceremonies take place? Can you name any public buildings in India that are made of sandstones? Answer. The ceremonies took place in the campus of the Union Building of Pretoria, which were attended by dignitaries and leaders of many nations. In India, Rashtrapati Bhavan and Red Fort are public buildings that are made of sandstone. Question number 2. Can you say how 10th May is an autumn day in South Africa? Answer. 10 May is an autumn day in Southern Africa because on that day there was the largest meeting of international leaders on the Southern African soil to establish the first democratic non-racial government in South Africa. 3. What is the actual freedom according to Mandela? Answer. According to Mandela, the real freedom is to live with dignity and self-respect. 4. For what Mandela transformed himself? Answer. Mandela transformed himself for the hunger of freedom. Question 5. At the beginning of his speech, Mandela mentions an extraordinary human disaster. What does he mean by this? What is the glorious human achievement he speaks of at the end? Answer. By mentioning an extraordinary human disaster at the beginning of his speech, Mandela refers to the cruel practice of apartheid, that is, the racial injustice endured in South Africa by the whites. The blacks were not allowed to demand freedom or any rights. At the end of the speech, Mandela talked about the glorious human achievement that a black person became the president of a country where the blacks were not even considered human beings and were treated badly. Question number 6. What does Mandela thank the international leaders for? Answer. In the oath-taking ceremony of Mandela, he felt very privileged to welcome the international leaders that day because the South Africans were considered as outlaws before they got independent. Thus, he thanked all of them for having come to witness the historical ceremony. This was a gesture of international recognition to a newly born free democratic nation, and it could be considered as a common victory for justice, peace, and human dignity. Now 7. What ideals does he set out for the future of South Africa? Answer. Nelson Mandela set out the ideals of liberating people from bondage of poverty, deprivation, and suffering. He also set the ideal for a society where there could be no discrimination on the basis of color or gender. Now 8. What do the military generals do? How has their attitude changed and why? Answer. The highest military generals of South Africa Defence Force and fully saluted Mandela and pledged their loyalty. Their attitude has changed towards the blacks. They started saluting them instead of arresting them. 9 number. Why were two national anthems sung? Answer. Two national anthems were sung on the day of inauguration, one by the whites and other by the blacks. It symbolizes the equality of black and white. Now question number 10. How does Mandela describe the system of government in his country? 1. In the first decade, and 2nd, in the final decade of the 28th century. Answer. The systems of government described by Mandela are given below. 1 number. In the first decade of the 28th century, the white-skinned people of South Africa patches up the differences and create a system free of racial domination. Now, 2. In the last decade of 28th century, the previous system had been overturned forever and replaced by one that recognized the rights and freedom of all people regardless of the color and skin. 11. What does courage mean to Mandela? Or what does Mandela mean by courage? Who, according to him, is a brave? It came in previous year. This read 1, 15, 2015, 17, 2001 and 23. It's important question. Answer. According to Mandela, courage does not mean the absence of fear, but a victory over fear. He believes that brave men need not be fearless, but should be able to conquer fear. Now 12 number. Which does he think it's natural, to love or to hate? Or some question. According to Mandela, between love and hate, which comes more naturally to human heart? It's in 2016. Answer. For Mandela, love comes more naturally to the human heart than hate. Now question number 13. What twin obligations does Mandela mention? Answer. Mandela believes that every man has twin obligations. The first is his family, parents, wife and children. The second obligation is to his people, his community and his country. 14 number question. What did being free mean to Mandela as a boy? And as a student, how does he contrast this transitory freedom with the basic and honorable freedoms? Answer. Like other kids, Mandela freedom means to make merry and enjoy the blissful life. Once one becomes an adult, the memories of the childhood looks like transitory because most of the childish activities are wasteful from an adult and have to earn a livelihood to feed your family. It's only then when you get an honorable existence in the family and society. 15. Does Mandela think the oppressor is free? Why or why not? Answer. According to Mandela, an oppressor is a victim of hatred who is behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. He realized that both the oppressor and the oppressed are robbed of the humanity and peace. 16 number. What did Mandela say about the wealth of his country? It came in 2019. Answer. Mandela says that the greatest wealth of his country is its people. According to him, they are truer and finer than the purest diamonds. He also goes on to compare the wealth of gems and minerals, but then he feels the people of his nations are the greatest wealth compared to any other form of wealth. Now, 17th question. What did, according to Mandela, is the greatest wealth of his country? It came in 2024. Answer. Mandela says that the greatest wealth of his country is its people. According to him, they are truer and finer than the purest diamond. Now question number 18. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as oppressed. Why does Mandela say so in Long Walk of Freedom? It came in 2025 HSLC exam. Okay, note it down. Answer. Mandela says this because he believed that when someone oppresses others, they also lose their own freedom. Both the oppressed and the oppressor are harmed. True freedom means that everyone must be free, not just one side. Now question number 19. Why did such a large number of international leaders attend the inauguration? What did it signify the triumph of? Answer. By attending the inauguration ceremony, the international leaders showed a gesture of solidarity from international community to the idea of end of apartheid. It was the significance of the victory of good over evil and triumph of tolerant society without any discrimination. Now question number 20. What does Mandela mean when he says he is simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before him? Answer. When Mandela says he is simply the sum of all those African patriots, he actually wants to pay tribute to all the people who have sacrificed their lives for the sake of freedom. He said that he is grateful to the patriots who had gone before him because they were the real heroes who paved the path of cooperation and unity for him. Now 21. Would you agree that the depth of oppression creates heights of character? How does Mandela illustrate this? Can you add your own example to this argument? Answer. I agree with the statement that depth of oppression creates height of character. Nelson Mandela illustrates this by giving examples of great heroes of South Africa like Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, and others who were inspired to sacrifice their lives in the long freedom struggle. India is full of such examples. During our freedom struggle, there was a galaxy of leaders of great characters, and the oppression of British rule created and encouraged people of noble characters like Mahatma Gandhi, Lala Lajpat Rai, Jawaharlal Nehru, and many more. If we compare them with the quality of political leaders India is having today, then Nelson Mandela seems to be absolutely right. Now 22. How did Mandela's hunger for freedom change his life? Answer. Mandela realized that it was not only his freedom that was being curtailed, but the freedom of all blacks. Then it changed fearful Mandela to a fearless rebel. He sacrificed the comforts of a settled family to fight for a greater cause. He joined the African National Congress, and this changed him from a frightened young man to a bold one who fought against racial prejudice. 23. How did Mandela's understanding of freedom change with age and experience? Answer. Mandela understood the real meaning of freedom with age and experience. As a young boy, he thought that he was born free and believed that as long as he obeyed his father and abided by the customs of his tribe, he was free in every possible way. As he grew older, freedom meaning has changed for him. Continue. Now, he needs freedom to raise a family, freedom to earn livelihood. Gradually, he realized that he was selfish during his boyhood. He slowly understood that it was not just his freedom that was being told, but the freedom of all blacks. It was the freedom from fear and prejudice. Age and experience widened his perspective of freedom. 24. What missions would Mandela like to achieve for the future of South Africa and her people on securing the political emancipation? Answer. Nelson Mandela aimed to achieve not only political emancipation but also social and economic justice for all South Africans. His vision included eradicating poverty and inequality, promoting education, building a united and democratic nation, and ensuring equal rights and opportunity for all. He believed true freedom involved both political rights and a better quality of life for the people. Now question number 25. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of the humanity. What makes Mandela says this? It came in HSLC 2018. Answer. Mandela said this because he believed that both the oppressed and the oppressor are harmed by injustice. The oppressed lose their freedom and dignity, while the oppressor becomes cruel and lose compassion. True freedom comes only when both are free. Question number 26. When did Mandela begin to hunger for freedom? Answer. Nelson Mandela began to hunger for freedom when he realized that the freedom he enjoyed as a child was an illusion. As he grew older and saw the injustice of apartheid, he became aware of the oppression of his people and started fighting for their rights. Question number 27. Write the names of two patriots before Mandela. One is Oliver Tambo and two Walter Sisulu. Question number 28. Freedom is indivisible. How does Mandela explain this observation of his view? Answer. Nelson Mandela explained that freedom is indivisible because he could not enjoy his own freedom while others were not free. He believed that the sin of one person's freedom are sin on everyone's freedom, and true liberty only exists when all people are free from oppression and injustice. Question number 29. What does Mandela say about the inauguration gathering? Answer. Nelson Mandela described the inauguration gathering as a historic and joyous occasion. He said it was a celebration of justice, peace, and a new beginning for South Africa. People from all over the world, including leaders and dignitaries, came to witness the end of apartheid and the birth of a democratic nation. Now question number 30. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as oppressed. Why does Mandela say so in Long Walk to Freedom? Answer. Mandela says the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed, to show that both suffer under a unjust systems. While the oppressed lose their freedom, the oppressor lose their humanity and live in fear and hatred. True freedom, he believes, means freeing both sides from this cycle. Thank you for today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and put your comment. If you want more videos, please inform me in the comment section. Thank you. Have a nice day.